Hey, everybody, it's David Rains, host of All Access Chat, and super happy to have you here. We're bringing you our latest episode today. You're not going to want to miss this one. This is an All Access Chat behind the scenes in a way you've never seen before. And if you like what you see here, make sure you hit your subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications, because we got lots more content coming your way, and you don't want to miss out on a single episode. If you like what you see as well, share it with your friend, because I'm sure you have friends who would be interested in seeing the content that you enjoy as well. Don't forget as well, in the link to the video, there is all kinds of links to our guest social media accounts. So you're not going to want to miss that, and you're going to want to follow them as well. They'll be happy to have you, as we are. Thanks very much. Now let's get right to the episode. So we are pleased to be joined by a very special artist in his own right, but he has a pretty famous father and comes from music royalty. I'm talking, of course, of Mr. Brian McKnight Jr. Good afternoon.
Oh man, how you doing?
Great, great. How's life treating you in LA?
It's good, man. As good as things can be, obviously, through all this madness. But luckily for me, man, I've always been kind of an introvert, and I do most of my work at home already. So I've just tried my best to keep working and stay focused, man, and keep my mind, in a positive space. So, but for me, it's been okay. I've got my little ones that are pretty close to me as well, and they keep me grounded. So I'm just thankful, man. I'm really blessed. It's been a good couple of weeks for me.
Well, I mean, obviously you've been pretty busy. You've got a new Christmas single out. Good time of year to have that one come out. So let's talk a little bit about that. How did it come to be, and what are you hoping for this song?
Man, so Christmas Eve with You is actually probably the first Christmas original I've ever written, and was fortunate enough to get two of my favorite artists, who just happened to be a couple of my buddies, to come with me and collaborate on it. And we had put the song out originally last year on sort of a soft release, because we did it so fast, literally in maybe a week or two we did it. And this year we really decided, man, we should give it the proper release, give it the proper pub. And we're actually shooting a little funny parody music video right now as well, that should come out in the next week or two. So really, really excited, man. Me and my buddy Brandon Williams, who produced it with me, and then my buddy Matt Cuson, who featured on the song with me as well. It's like a Christmas R&B love song. So it's one of my faves. I love it so much, and the response has been so great for it to only been out maybe a week or two now. So I really, really appreciate it. Christmas carols, I sing them year round. So the fact that I have one now that I think could eventually become one of those standard type Christmas songs, man, is really exciting. So awesome. I'm really, really thankful for that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those ones that it's going to be. I think years from now we'll look back at this one, and it'll be one of those kind of Christmas standards that's going to happen. I really I got it. I've got it on repeat. I'll tell you that. I'm a huge lover of Christmas, and this one's been on repeat since we got it. So
thank you, man. Thank you so much.
In addition to your single, let's talk about your Amazon Prime appearance and movie that you got going on there. How did that come about? And you're on the soundtrack as well. So take us through that process.
Yeah, man. So Freshman Friday, 2 summers ago, I had the opportunity to fly back home to my hometown, Raleigh, North Carolina, man, and shoot this movie. It's a feel-good, raunchy comedy about the HBCU experience, man. My buddy Steven Slates wrote it, and another good friend of mine, Robert X. Golphin, directed it. And their story is the best, man, because they both went to the HBCU that we ended up filming at, and had told each other back when they were in school that one day they would come back home and make a movie. And Freshman Friday is that movie, man. So I'm so proud to be a part of it. And I'm so happy that those guys got it done and got it out, and people are watching it now, because it was really some of the most fun I've ever had. It's my first starring in a comedy lead. And I had a ball, man. We shot 2 weeks, and it was incredible, man. And I didn't go to college. I didn't have that chance. So this was really like a bird's eye view into what that life could have been like for me. We were literally in the dorms for 2 weeks straight in the middle of the summer in Raleigh. So it was hot, you know what I mean? It was really, really so much fun. I'm just so glad I got that. And then to also have songs on the soundtrack, that was a dream for me, man. Ever since I was really a young kid, I've always wanted to star in a movie and have music on the soundtrack. And to be able to say I've kind of done that, it's huge, man, to kind of knock that off my list. And it's just been, so motivating just to see the process and kind of get the feeling like I could really do this long term. So It's
Awesome.
definitely been such a huge blessing, man, for
Yeah.
real.
Well, listen, if you haven't seen Freshman Friday, you got to check it out. It is hilarious and it's a
Thank you.
great movie. So that's pretty awesome. So
Thank you.
tell me about getting your start in music. And do you think that, coming from the background that you come from and having the father that you do, was it an easier path? Was it a harder path? What's it like?
You know what I'd like to say about my particular journey is, I was really blessed. I feel like the God knew to put me in this family, man, because I truly feel like I was born to do this. And the fact that I've got my dad, who was probably the best manifestation tool ever, right in front of me that I got to learn from, I got to emulate, I got to truly gravitate just towards all the things that I loved. And then my mom and her side of the family also is a lot of what people don't know. And what I plan on really championing is, they are really where I get most of my musical influences from. Some of my favorite singers, most of my favorite singers, honestly, are from my mom's side. Most of my favorite songwriters, my mom's brother, my uncle Vic, included, is probably my favorite singer songwriter. All those things coupled, man, kind of made it a no-brainer for me to do these things. And then having my younger brother, who's just a savant, anything he touches musically or creatively, period, is just incredible. And having him to kind of grow up and keep me fresh and be like, okay, this is what's cool, this is what's hit, this is what people are actually liking now, has all been coupled into making me, man, just the artist I am now. And being able to then use all this knowledge and all this experience I've had now, man, to kind of teach all these new artists and all my young students of the game, is really the biggest payoff for me as I'm still continuing to grow as myself. I feel like I've been through so much when it comes to business, when it comes to just growing up as a man in the business, to offer now. And that means more to me than anything, man. And a lot of what my rollout over the next year is really going to be, me really stepping into that role as being the new role model, even for young women as well. So it's exciting, man.
So what do you say to somebody, just getting into the game today? You mentioned that you're kind of that mentor now. So what do you say to somebody who's, 11, 12, 13, starting to think about, hey, I really want to get into this? And what's the advice coming?
Honestly, man, my biggest thing is to make sure that you're sure and not to let anybody deter you from figuring that out. A lot of people get charmed by the big dream and it can sometimes be daunting to them. And what I tell them is just one day at a time, and make sure that every single day you're dedicating an allotted amount of time to your dream as if you would your 9 to 5. Whatever it is beyond music, I really try my best to instill in them that work ethic. And if you're naturally in a constant state of progression and evolution yourself, there's no way that whatever your art is won't reciprocate that growth. And that's really the foundation of everything I do, man. Being a dad, being a boyfriend, being a brother, a big brother that's had to kind of lead by example for everyone behind me, man. All that has led me to know that it comes down to being the best version of you. And once you start to peel down those layers that allow you to see the best version of you, you'll immediately start going in that direction. So that's definitely the foundation of what I tell my, young proteges and whatnot. To just be yourself and always cultivate that, and grow freely, for
Oh,
sure.
that's great. That's great. So you've been busy with some other projects that are going to see the light of day here in 2021. Hopefully, you want to share some of what's going on?
Yeah, man. So the most exciting thing for me is my book, honestly, just to tether on what we've been talking about. I'm writing a book called The Player's Handbook to Finding Happiness. And imagine just a small, literally pamphlet style handbook that, say, a young man could pick up anytime he feels like he just needs some guidance, man. Again, whether it's with relationships, whether it's with career, whether it's with business, it's like I want my book to be that thing that finally gives young men a voice that they can trust, that doesn't feel like they're getting the finger pointed at them, but, a young kid giving them examples of a life that they want to live with a few things that are like, if you do this, these are the consequences. There are no if, buts, or maybes about it. This is what you have to accept will come with the territory of living that type of life. And the foundation of the book really is just acceptance, man. Be a player if you're going to be a player, but accept what's going to come with that life. And don't be surprised when you find yourself, on the short end of the stick half the time. So that's really, really, what's most important to me to get done now, because even as of late, I mean, just this last week or two, I've had so many different instances where it's like, man, this is exactly why you're writing your book. You got to put this in your book. So the player's handbook to finding happiness, man, is going to be incredible. I think I'm really, really excited about it. From there, man, it's like project after project after project when it comes to music. I literally have maybe 7 or 8 EPs to full-length albums that I have plotted out for next year, all concept albums. I'm going the Frank Sinatra route so that they can never put me in a box. So we can definitely look out for that, man. And I plan on the world really beginning to see a lot of me beginning Q1 next year. So I'm just really excited to finally be in this position. My goal at the beginning of this year, even before, the pandemic and the lockdowns and all this, was to get my particular brand as Brian McKnight Jr. to the place where I felt comfortable enough as an independent artist to say, okay, we're making some noise now. I can give them all these things I've been working on for the last 20 years, to be honest, to feel like they'll finally reach the ears that I've been hoping for. And yeah, man, I'm really excited, honestly, really excited.
That's cool. Take us a little bit, if you would, through your creative journey. What does that look like? Everybody's a little bit different in how they approach their creative journey. So what's yours look like?
Man, for me, I really just get out of the way, man. I am the epitome of that saying that you take a step back, you open that door and you let God in, man. What I, again, am fortunate of is that I've been doing this since I was 11 years old. I've had a studio in my room literally since I was 11. You figure I'm 31 now. So for the last 20 years, man, I've been, in terms of putting my 10,000 hours in, closer to 100,000. So I truly don't have a set formula for how I work or even how I write. I truly am just a vessel, man. So I allow myself, if anything, my creative process is just putting myself in position to receive whatever it is that I need to be putting back out there as a channel. Because the music side, the creative part of it is really easy for me. The production side of it, once I have the idea, honestly, man, I got home from the studio maybe 2 hours ago, and 3 songs, 4 songs a night. That's kind of where I am right now, on top of everything else I'm doing, which only aids my creativity. When I'm in one of these rhythms that I'm in now, where I've got it firing on all cylinders, man, I really don't. And again, this is another thing I tell my young people. It's like, I don't force anything. And I always trust my first instinct. So if I have a melody come in, chances are, if I remember it, if it sticks out to me, that's the one. And that's kind of how I feed off of everything, and I allow it to just go. So yeah, man, for me, I think it's just getting out of the way and letting the art happen. That's really what it is.
Cool. So has the pandemic situation here kind of helped or hindered your creative process? Probably give you a little more time if to focus, for sure.
Yeah, man. Oh, it has definitely not only helped me, but been an accelerant, man. Honestly, it really gave me a chance to plan, and not just plan, begin to really dedicate time to each particular thing so that they can be executed. I was a victim before of having all these plans and not necessarily knowing where to start, who to call, where to go. What the lockdown did give me was, all right, I have to kind of knock these pegs off one by one just to ensure that they really get done. And from there, man, it's just kind of been like obstacle after obstacle has just fallen away, and opportunities have just begun to overflow. And now it's being able to really, again, just strategically set time and set, the foundation to make sure that everything gets handled the right way. And I definitely appreciate it, because as even moving into a more CEO managerial type level, I needed that fine tuning to put everything in its place, and the routine has definitely become much more refined, without a doubt. And I don't know if it would have happened if not for this crazy year. So that's my, bittersweet appreciativeness of 2020, man, because it definitely gave me the tools to kind of become exactly the artist I want to be. So I appreciate it.
How do you think that the pandemic is going to change the entertainment industry, but music in general? What do you think the outlook is for music as we?
Man, I think even as we Q4, which has been the most productive fourth quarter ever, in terms of the big artists that are still putting music out this close to the holiday. I think we're going to see more of that, in terms of no boundaries, no timeline. Now people are home, they can't go anywhere. The one thing everyone does for sure is listen to music. So that's all I've been preparing more, because next year, man, I really feel like Q1 next year is going to be insane in terms of the amount of artists that are going to be putting out art. Everyone that's been working on music just like me for the last 10 months now, that have been able to formulate their plans, get their visuals right. We're going to see some of the best art for the next 3 to 4 years. I feel like we're moving into that Renaissance age, for all mediums, for all styles. What social media has done, what's direct to consumer based art and all that has done, man, it's given us independent artists a lot more freedom. And what you can't tell an independent artist to do is not put their art out. So that's what I really look forward to, man. It's just that influx of all these people who have been kind of pent up with their angst, or just not necessarily knowing what to do, and the pandemic gave them their vision. We're going to see so much of the best art, man, and I'm so excited about it. Even to be a part of it on the music side, to know that music is medicine, and we're going to need a lot of love, I think, the next however long, man, all this happens. To be a part of that is, it's really the best. I really am really thankful. And, I pray on it every day that I can't imagine doing anything else. I can't imagine if I didn't have music, man. So I don't take it for granted at all. And, I just really look forward to seeing everyone else kind of finding their way and getting out of their own way, putting their art out, man. It's time. We need it.
What are you most looking forward to as we come out of this? And what's the first thing that you're going to be doing when life gets back to the quote unquote norm, or whatever that's going to look like as we move forward?
Man, what I really miss, me and my girl talk about all the time, man, is going bowling. That's probably my favorite pastime, of actually going out and doing out activities. What I miss the most, man, going to the movies and bowling, man. So I think one of the first things probably is I'm hitting the lanes. All right. Without a doubt. And then we can get to traveling and doing all that. But man, I miss hearing those pins explode. That's something I need.
That's awesome. What's the best game you've ever bowled?
Man, I bowled a 276. I think that's my highest. Yeah, nice. 276, consistent 250s first stretch there. And that's what hurts, man. I was getting so good right before lockdown. I was finally back, and then it was like, nope, no more. So, man, I missed that.
Well, hopefully you're not going to have to go the route of putting a bowling alley in your house for now. But
man, I've already drawn it out. I'm already planning for it.
That's awesome. Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time this afternoon to chat with us. Good luck with everything. Looking forward to next year and seeing the success that I think you're just scratching the surface here. And it sounds like you've got a plan here in place, and we'll look forward to see that plan executed and all the great things.
Man, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you having me, man.